Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Bahashem Rekakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled, The Crucifixion Method Proves YAHAWASHI'S Existence. Lord, will you are edified in this lesson through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. We will filter this article through the scriptures to support YAHAWASHI'S existence. This video was inspired by a video entitled, Was the Lord Crucified on a Cross or Tree? And this video is located on GMS 2 or More Gathered's page. Crucifixion goes into the origin of crucify. And according to the Etimon Online, crucify is broken down into to fasten or to fix to a cross. To fasten or to fix to a cross. This is what crucify means. According to Wikipedia.org, crucifixion is a method of punishment or capital punishment in which the victim, who's the victim? In our case, Matthew 20:17, and Yahushua going up to Jerusalem took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man, hence Yahushua, shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death. Verse 19, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles / Romans who were Edomites to mock and to scourge and to crucify him. And the third day he shall rise again. At this time frame, Yahushua was prophesying about him being crucified. In which the victim, and in our case, Yahushua, is tied or nailed. Let's filter nailed. John 20 and verse 24. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, We have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails. So you can filter Yahushua being nailed, okay, via the scriptures. And thrust my hand into his side, I would not believe. And after 8 days, again his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Peace be unto you. Then said he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. states crucifixion was more often performed to dissuade its witnesses from perpetuating similar crimes. Victims were sometimes left on display after death as a warning to any other potential criminals. Crucifixion was usually intended to provide a death that was particularly slow, painful. Let's filter this within the scriptures. John 19 and verse 30. When Yahawashi therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up the spirit. Yahawashi completed all objectives that the Most High assigned to him, and within those objectives, he had to be crucified, and he felt that pain of being crucified. So you can only imagine when he stated, "It is finished," the relief he felt. Let's continue. Let's jump down to cause of death. The length of time required to reach death could range from hours to days depending on method. Okay? The length of time required to reach death could range from hours to days depending on method. Let's go to Mark 15, verse 25. And it states, "And it was the third hour." Okay, so you can equate the third hour to 9 a.m., and they crucified him. Let's jump down to verse 33. "And when the 6th hour was come, around 12 p., there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour." So from 12 p. to 3 p., you had a solar eclipse. And when you break that term down, it means the blockage of the sun. Verse 34, "And at the 9th hour, Yahawashi cried with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which is being interpreted, my power, why hast thou forsaken me?" And according to verse 37, "And Yahawashi cried with a loud voice and gave up the spirit." So Yahawashi was on that cross for approximately 6 hours. Okay. And it states, It states, crucifixion was intended to be a gruesome spectacle, the most painful and humiliating death imaginable. And it states, crucifixion was typically carried out by specialized teams consisting of a commanding centurion and his soldiers. Let's get that. Let's filter this within the scriptures. Matthew 27. And verse 27. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahawashi into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. Okay? And according to this article, it states crucifixion was typically carried out by specialized teams consisting of a commanding centurion and his soldiers. And according to Matthew 27 and 27, then the soldiers of the governor took Yahawashi into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. Let's go back into the article, and it states, first, the condemned would be stripped naked and scourged. This would cause the person to lose a large amount of blood and approach a state of shock. All right. Now, according to Matthew 27 and verse 26, then released he Barabbas, okay, and the he is referring to Pilate, unto them, and when he had scourged Yahawashi, he delivered him to be crucified. Let's jump to verse 28. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. Verse 29, and when they had planted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. And what it states, first the condemned would be stripped naked, but in Yahawashi's case, they gave him a robe and scourged. He was beaten. This would cause a person to lose a large amount of blood and approach a state of shock. Now, also, we jump back. Remember, it states crucifixion was intended to be a gruesome spectacle, the most painful and humiliating death imaginable. Okay? Going back into Yahawashi had been stripped, and they put on him a scarlet robe, according to Matthew 27 and 28. Let's jump down to verse 29. And when they had planted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. This is all humiliation. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head, humiliation. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him, humiliation. Okay? The crucifixion method supports the existence of Yahawashi. Point blank period, man. Then it states, the convict then usually had to carry the horizontal beam to the place of execution, but not necessarily the whole cross. Let's filter this within the scripture of Matthew 27 and verse 32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. So Simon the Cyrene helped Yahawashi bear his cross. Okay? And according to this documentation, what it states, the convict then usually had to carry the horizontal beam to the place of execution, but not necessarily the whole cross. And in Yahawashi's case, Simon assisted him to carry the cross. All right, let's jump down. During the death march, the prisoner, probably still new after the scourging, would be led through the most crowded streets, bearing a signboard proclaiming the prisoner's name and crime. Let's get Luke 23 and 38. You know what? Let's start at verse 37. And saying, if thou be the king of the Jews, save thyself. Verse 38. And a superscription also was written over him in letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, this is the King of the Jews. And according to this documentation, it states, during the death march, the prisoner, probably still nude after the scourging, would be led through the most crowded streets. Now we know through biblical doctrine, Yahawashi was clothed. After they had mocked him, they took the robe they placed on Yahawashi. They took that off and they gave him back his garment. So he was covered. And it states, would be led through the most crowded streets bearing a sign board proclaiming the prisoner's name and crime. And over Yahawashi, right, what did they place? What was the sign? It states, according to Luke 23 and 38, and a superscription also was written over him in letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, this is the King of the Jews. Let's see. Okay. Well, pretty much that's it. The Lord will, you are edified. Lord will, you are able to receive it in the spirit. The crucifixion method supports the existence of Yahawashi. Shalom.